Welcome sa ating channel. We are here to talk about the 6600 XT video card alone. So ito yung pagfo-focusan ng ating video ngayon dahil in the previous video ang pinag-usapan natin is the 6600 XT with the PC build. Kaya medyo may mga topics na hindi ko na-cover talking about the 6600 XT. And today, ang pag-uusapan natin is quite tailored dun sa mga questions nyo. How will 6600 XT performs pagdating naman sa editing and also pagdating sa streaming? Is it a video card for streaming? It's quite weird dahil sobrang taas na ng video card na to be questioned about sa streaming. Pero for that question, i-cover po natin siya. Pero at the same time, we will also show you the gaming performance of this video card in case lang na hindi nyo na gustong balikan yung ating previous video. Now with that being said, let's talk about the 6600 XT pagdating sa real world performance, and for more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. This video is brought to you by SCDKey, the best website that you may visit in terms of very affordable deals and best offer para sa application softwares, games, and yes, operating system. And there you are, you may check the Windows 10 Pro, and by using our promo code, ma-avail mo lang siya ng around $14.95 or 700 plus pesos. That's it mga kaibigan. Check the description below. May mga links po tayo dyan to go directly sa kanilang website. Before we will jump to the topic, 6600 XT is the only go-to video card, not least at the mainstream level. Kasi if you will ask me, what is my recommendation pagdating sa 25 to 30k budget? Wala na akong maire-recommend eh. We don't have any choice. We only have the 6600 XT as the video card pagdating sa ganyang budget range. If you will have the option, that is the GTX 1660 Super, which is quite very hindi lang quite, overpriced from 11K jumping to 25K. That is more than 10K or 100% increase. At the same time, if we will be looking for the 5600 XT, the lower variant of 6600 XT, or the 5700 and the 5700 XT, very impossible na mahanap natin yung mga ganong klase ng models dito sa ating market, especially here in the Philippines. So we don't have any choice, or we have two choices, or maybe three choice. And that is, of course, go for my recommendation, 6600 XT, or wag ka munang bumili, or maybe hunt for other higher models at that kind of price range, which is very impossible as of this time. Though meron akong mga na-discuss sa ating mga local tech news na may mga price drops, pero ito nga po is on selected stores, or it's very hard to find. Like you will really go one by one sa mga computer stores to find those video cards. And yes, it is possible. Kaso lang, sobrang hassle at your side. Now, let's go back to the topic. 6600 XT pagdating sa gaming. Yes, makikita natin sa previous videos na napakita ko po doon how will this perform pagdating sa esports games at saka AAA games. And if you will weigh in based on those benchmark, real world benchmark, those are real games na niran po natin with those overlay, makikita po natin doon yung actual FPS or the average FPS while gaming. And we will observe it that on esports games, above average ang kanyang performance. Ibig sabihin, it is performing at 100 plus FPS. Dota 2, CSGO, Valorant. Pero pagdating sa AAA games, there's quite a struggle hitting 100 FPS, especially at a very high settings or ultra settings. Pero still, playable pa rin sila at beyond 60 FPS. Now, if you want to know more about the gaming performance of this, go back sa ating previous video. The topic in here is to address the question, streaming. How will this 6600 XT perform? Pagdating sa streaming, makikita po natin dito that I ran the Dota 2 esports game at a very high settings, maximum settings. And Dota 2 is one of the heaviest esport game na i-stream po natin, most likely here in the Philippines. Syempre dahil yan ang mostly played game here in the Philippines, and at least it's easier for you guys to replicate it if you want to try. When you look at the benchmark, makikita po natin that on the gaming side alone, hitting 150 plus FPS, but during streaming on software encoder, makikita po natin na magdadrop po siya below 130 FPS. Pero at least when we use the AMD hardware encoder, makikita po natin dito that it's now performing beyond 130 FPS. Still shy above 130 FPS. Pero at least makikita natin dito yung advantage because we are using a Ryzen 7 with 8 cores. And if I may assume, most of the users who will buy this 6600 XT are even lower than the Ryzen 7 variant ng processors. They will be going for a Ryzen 5 processor. So if we will scale it, most likely, mas malaki pa yung difference if we will compare the software encoder and the AMD hardware encoder kung Ryzen 5 ang gagamitin mong processor. Bakit? Who will buy a 6600 XT, tapos kaya mo naman palang bumili ng Ryzen 7, di ba? If you can buy a Ryzen 7, then most likely you will just go for a Ryzen 5 and then settle for a better or higher video card. I may stand to be corrected on that part, pero in most cases, ganun po yung magiging scenario natin. Bakit? Ryzen 5 is the sweet spot pagdating sa streaming. And if ang target or yung main purpose mo, why you will avail a video card, or why you will avail a system unit is for streaming and the budget is most likely limited, then you may settle down sa aking sinabing recommendation. Ryzen 5 and a higher video card. Pero here, the topic is all about the 6600 XT. So most likely, kung ang budget mo for a video card is for 6600 XT only, then I may assume that ang budget mo rin sa processor is most likely up to Ryzen 5 only. Now, that is all about the 6600 XT pagdating sa streaming, and if you want to know more details, kung ano pa yung mga recommendations or options natin, you may check our previous videos. We also have the Ryzen 3 pagdating sa streaming. We also have the Ryzen 5 pagdating din sa streaming. And yan po yung mga pwede nyong i-check sa ating mga previous videos that we already covered before. Now, let's go about sa editing. Since maraming klase ng editing, let's make this very quick between different activities na gagawin natin. So, editing pagdating sa video card may a bit very significant pagdating sa rendering. And pagdating sa video editing, the rendering side doesn't define the whole experience. And in video editing, as I may always say, most likely, 80% ng video editing natin during the editing process. So if you will ask me about the 6600 XT pagdating sa performance, we have these numbers that you may also replicate at your side. So I downloaded the Puget systems, and you may also compare these numbers with previous builds or videos that I have uploaded in this channel, or you may also download it and try with your system unit. Now, if the number is lower than the numbers na pinapakita natin dito, ibig sabihin it is a huge upgrade from that system unit that you have compared to this. Pero kung mas mataas yung number na makukuha mo, then most likely you have a better performing PC and it's not worth it to upgrade for this kind of video card. Now, why I'm trying to state this? Because pagdating nga sa editing, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, it is at the editing process. And with the Puget Systems benchmark template, nandyan yung score that showcase the whole experience from the editing to exporting to rendering. And if I may say it again, most of the time, ang nagagamit natin dyan is yung RAM at saka yung processor. So, that may depend kung anong RAM at processor. So, if you will be going for 4K editing, 6600 XT is still good video card up to 4K editing. Pero depende pa rin, are you using a 32GB of RAM? Or are you using at least 8-core processor? Yun yung question dun. So, if the hardware that you are using is Ryzen 5 and 16GB of RAM, most likely magkakaroon ka ng konting struggle pagdating sa 4K editing with the 6600 XT. That is based on the real-world performance. If you may check our previous videos or this video alone, makikita nyo po that we are uploading these videos in 4K resolution. So, ibig sabihin, the experience using different processors and different RAM configurations and video card configuration, very minimal yung impact ng video card. Sa rendering lang talaga siya, medyo nag-stand out. Especially rendering those effects, those transitions, doon lang nagkakaroon talaga ng significant effect yung ating video card. And that will be defined by the score that I have in here with the Premiere or the Puget Systems Premiere template. Now, pagdating naman sa Photoshop, again, I may say it that the 6600 XT is good enough video card for Photoshop, even overkill, kasi most of the time, ang nagagamit din pagdating sa Photoshop editing is yung ating processor or yung ating RAM. So to cut it short, 6600 XT is okay pagdating sa 4K and 1080p resolution video editing and pagdating sa Photoshop. That may just depend kung ano yung processor and RAM natin. Now, how about pagdating sa architectural works or projects? So dito medyo mag-iiba yung ating recommendation, especially if you will be using Lumion software dahil most of the time, or if not most of the time, sobrang taas or sobrang laking oras ang nai-spend natin pagdating sa rendering, which is pagdating sa Lumion, GPU most likely ang magagamit pagdating sa rendering by default or out of the box without any other configuration. Pero ito nga, pinapakita ko po dito sa ating benchmark with Blender 3D na makikita nyo po na ating 6600 XT is well performing and it's almost on par with the Ryzen 7 processor. Now, with that being said, you may conclude na bakit hindi na lang ako mag-render through processor if the processor is even better performing sa rendering ng 3D compared sa video card na yan. Dito ngayon papasok ulit yung sinabi ko kanina pagdating sa gaming. If you can afford to have a Ryzen 7 processor, then maybe you can also afford to go for a higher video card to have a better results pagdating sa rendering. Diba? Kasi nga pagdating sa architectural or engineering, mas significant na mag-invest ka rin pagdating sa RAM and at the same time sa video card. Especially if you will look at the workflow. Kung titingnan natin kasi yung workflow, yung pagde-design, makikita po natin that yung draft ng mga i-render nila is sobrang, kumbaga, draft talaga na walang effects, walang added textures, pero yun na nga lang is ma-fill up pagdating na sa exporting or i-import na nila sa mga Lumion or sa mga rendering softwares. Kaya nga dapat medyo mag-invest din tayo sa RAMs kasi the more polygons, minsan pag hindi kaya ng RAM, magka-crash po yan sa importing stage pa lang. Kaya nga dito pumapasok ngayon na yung GPU is sobrang significant as much as the RAM. And then, secondary na lang yung CPU. Pero, hindi ko rin sinasabi dito na mag-invest ka na lang sa i3 or Ryzen 3 and go for a very high video card. Of course, that is also a bottleneck or sobrang imbalance. Ryzen 5, of course, is the at least processor that you may settle down if in case you will be going for a 6600 XT kung ang purpose mo din is for architectural or engineering softwares. Now, hopefully, nasagot ko na po lahat yung questions nyo sa ating previous video. This is quite angled pagdating sa topic on how will the 6600 XT perform pagdating sa real-world performance and what is my recommendation based on the benchmark and based on the previous videos that we have also stated or showed in this channel. If you want to have a better or in-depth or technical details on how things perform pagdating sa rendering, pagdating sa video editing, pagdating sa mga gaming, streaming, we have a lot of videos na previously uploaded in this channel na nakafocus lang with those topics. Or keep posted lang po dito sa ating channel for an updated recommendation pagdating sa mga specific topics like streaming, editing, and gaming. This is for the 6600 XT video card, the only video card na mainstream at 25K to 30K more or less, unless you can find better deals with other or higher variants. So disclaimer lang po before I will end this video, this is just a recommendation for the last month of 2021 or the first quarter of 2022. That may depends kung magbabago po ang pricing sa ating market or if there are better offers from AMD or any other brands out there pagdating sa succeeding months that I doubt may happen as soon as possible. Now with that being said, for more videos like this, feel free to subscribe.